Hello everyone, I'm Taffany. Welcome into my garden today. And today I have a few various things I'm going to be doing. So I'm just going to take you along the garden here and just kind of tell you about the things I'm going to be doing today, and then we're going to jump right into it. So let's go ahead and start walking to the courtyard garden first. There's a male and female cardinal on the fence. They've been eating on the bird feeder right there. And of course, that has done what? Gotten Miss Tika's attention. You can see she's creeping. And I'm creeping slowly behind her. The female has ducked over the fence. The male is there eating and looking around. No, Tika. No, Tika. And the male has now left to allow the female to feed. Tika, no. Tika, no. No, Tika. Let the birds eat. Tika, no. My goodness, she just doesn't listen. All right, well, they have flown off for right now, so let's head to this courtyard garden. So, first things first, my sage. The sage on this side and the sage on this side are doing great. This one here, and ironically, this one here, are drooping, so I'm going to get them out of the ground and I'm going to move them before I lose them. And I'm just going to fill those spaces in with those marigolds right there. And the other two marigolds I'm going to take with the sage and put it in the entrance bed there at the vegetable garden. And then I have this edging, which is a rubber edging. Let's see. It's 4 feet, no dig, molded from recycled tires, it says. But it is a rubber edging that kind of has the look of a brown brick. I'm going to use that and see if I can take out this plastic edging here around this bed. See how it looks. If I don't like it, I'll take it back. So we're going to do that. We're going to move the sage and replace it with marigolds. We're going to take the sage and the other two marigolds, and we are going to go this way. Miss Tika's hiding near the bird feeder there. But we're heading here to the entrance of the vegetable garden. And you can see that the snapdragons are starting to fade throughout the garden. Some are still looking okay, but you can definitely see the difference in what they look like. You can see those off in the distance there. And actually the ones we just passed right there. So I just took you guys in a whole circle. Sorry. But we're going to take that out. I'm not going to take the dianthus out for right now, although you can kind of see it's kind of getting tired looking too. Maybe I will go ahead and just take the dianthus out. Clean out that bed, fill it with fresh soil, fertilize it, and we'll put the sage and the marigolds in this bed here for right now. And then the other thing I am going to do is plant in this back bed. I'm going to plant the scavola that is here. I'm going to dig up this coreopsis. I don't like this coreopsis, so I'm going to dig it up. And all the extra plants that were left from the front garden, I've put back here. Some of them have fallen over, but I laid them out how I want them. So I'm going to be planting those here. So that is 3 pink, oh goodness, Cleome. I can't believe I just went totally blank, but I've got the 3 pink cleome, 2 purple salvia, and I've got the angelonia in raspberry and an angelonia in coral. These are all things that I bought thinking that they would all probably go in the front garden. But I knew that it was a possibility that there would be some left. And if there were, I knew I'd just stick them somewhere here in the back garden. So this is where I'm going to put those. So we're going to be planting here. We're going to be planting in that little pocket bed in the vegetable garden. And we're going to work on the edging in the courtyard garden and get that sage out of there before we lose it. I'm trying to turn slowly so that you can take a look at the courtyard garden there. So that's the plan for today. So let's head to the courtyard garden and take the sage out, and we'll start with that. right, guys, I have all of the planting done. So I'm going to show you what that looks like. And then we're going to tackle that edging and figure out how to lay it down. So I'm going to start right here at the long border, since that's where we already are. And I'll show you what this looks like all planted, so you can kind of envision in your head what it's going to look like when it's fully grown. We're going to look at the pocket bed in the vegetable garden, and then we're going to get the edging, like I said. And then once we get the edging, I'll show you the whole look with the marigolds planted and everything like that. So let me turn the camera around for you. Okay, so right here at the long border. We are starting right here on this corner. You can see where we moved that white salvia to. You can see the 3 Miss Lemon Abelias, and for some reason this one has red leaves on it versus the other 2, which are just pure lemony lime green. But anyway, we have the raspberry angelonia right there. You can see that we've got the 3 pink cleomes in the back. We've got those 2 beautiful purple salvias in the front here. And then on this other end, we have the coral angelonia. And then back there, those are those yellow shrubs that I have that has such a long name. I don't bother to try to pronounce it because it doesn't even have like just a regular generic name that I can use. It's just this crazy long name. But it is native to zones like 10 and 11. So but it does die back and come back here for me. But I'll put the name on the screen for you. But those shrubs are sitting kind of flanked with the 2 sunshine ligustrums behind it. They have these yellow leaves that look like blooms, but they're actually the leaves, and it's beautiful, and it will complement the purples and the pinks from these flowers here. And down here, I have not moved the coreopsis that I pulled up, but I've got 2 of the scavola there and 1 scavola here to fill in those empty spaces. And I'm going to back up and we're going to take a look at the pocket bed right here. And this little marigold was underneath all of the dianthus, and it still had roots and all, so I put it back in. So we've got 2 sage and the marigold, so we'll see how it does there. I'm thinking that those specific areas are just very wet back here in this courtyard garden, and so I'm guessing that is what was going on with it. I don't know. We'll see how the marigolds do, though. So now for what may be a challenge or maybe something very easy for us. We'll see. But let me unpackage them so you can get a closer look, and then we'll get the black edging out and start getting it bent around the circle. One thing I will say about this edging is it has some weight to it. And the reason I got the this rubber edging is because, you know, my climate is very humid, and this back area is an area that tends to kind of stay moist. So growing things back here, I know will be a challenge, but I've taken care a lot of the issue, but it doesn't solve everything. As you could see with the issue with the sage, that we've got those couple of spots that were seemed like they were a little more moist than the others. So I thought this might be able to combat that. So we'll see. But it looks like it has stakes and things in here as well. So this is what it looks like, a close-up look. And it has these holes right here, so I'm guessing that's where the stakes are going to go to hold it in ground. Yeah, this is heavy. You could knock someone out with this. I'm not condoning violence, I'm just saying it's heavy. Alrighty, let me get the rest unpacked, and then we will start working on this circle bed. right, guys, it is a couple of hours later and I'm still in the courtyard garden. I had to stop and think and figure out how to really make this work because the courtyard garden now has all of the elements in it. But it's like getting dressed up for a gala or ball or something like that. You've got your gown, you've got your hair done, but it's missing something. And it's usually the accessories, the necklace, the earrings, the bracelet or watch, the right shoes with it. So that's what I felt like was missing here. And so I got that rubber edging. And I like the rubber edging, but I didn't like it around the circle bed. I felt like it made it look too industrial and it didn't soften it. But I know that the edging itself, any edging, whether it's metal or plastic or this rubberized, can be softened with the plantings as it drapes over it, and you've got your mulch there, your rocks going up against it, things like that. So I know it can be softened, but I just didn't like the way it looked around the circle bed. So I had to stop and think, how do I want to work this? So because I have so many extra rock and brick and stone around the yard, in places that you haven't seen, I grabbed some and I put rock around the circle bed, which I absolutely love, and it ties it in with the rest of the garden. I reset the bricks that enter into this courtyard garden because I only have one layer of rock down here, this gravel, and I know that I need more. And, I always planned on doing that after I finished getting everything else done. And so I feel like that rock and this edging are those accessory pieces that's going to bring it to the next level. And I had to go with rubberized because I feel like the metal edging would look like it's 10 years old in probably about a year because back here stays moist. And yes, I've planted quite a bit back here and I am taking a risk with planting things in an area that tends to hold moisture more. But so far things are doing good, and you don't know if something's going to work until you try it. So I've got everything that I wanted back here, and I really solved a lot of the issue of it holding water by finding the drains and adding this gravel and stuff. And I feel like the mulch and things like that help as well. And having plantings to absorb some of the water helps as well. But I'm going to show you the arrangement that I came up with. But one thing I realized when I was working with the rubber edging is I bought 4. And I bought brown to planning ahead with the color of the garage and, things like that. What I didn't realize when I grabbed from the box of brown is that someone must have stuck a black in there. So I had 3 brown and 1 black. Let me show you. So this is the black, and it also has even a different design on it. So I have to take this back tomorrow and get another brown, exchange it for a brown. And but let me show you what I did do. But before I do that, I just dropped the black. Here is the picture for the edging, and you'll notice they have the outer part here facing outward where you put your staples. I did not like that, so I turned it around so that the staples are on the inside and they'll be covered with mulch once we add fresh mulch in those beds. Let me show you. All right, guys, so I'm standing here at the entrance. Let me back up a little. And right off the bat, you can see I changed out the plastic edging for more of the rock. This rock has been in the yard since we moved in. It's all over the place. And I have used it around the vegetable garden and the bedroom garden. So I added some here. Long term, I would love to add some exactly like this. This is called moss rock, by the way, just in case you're wondering. I would like to add moss rock back there. I had always planned on doing it, but I did not plan on putting it at the circle bed. But I do think having this bed and that bed with smaller moss rock, and then this with the medium-sized moss rock will, all match and tie in really well. I really like this. And as far as the rubber edging is concerned, I'm going to back up again. And you can see it on this side right here. And you can see I raised the rock going into, not the rock, but the brick right here going into the courtyard garden so that it's a little bit higher for when we add more gravel. So now I've got the height for the edging so I can have more mulch over there in all the beds. You know, once they're all encased in the edging, we'll be able to add a higher level of mulch and higher level of gravel. But you can see I have it turned inside out so that the part with the staples will be on the inside and it will be covered with the compost or mulch or whatever we use. So that is how it looks. And it goes around here, and it says that you can, you know, make it the length that you want. You can use a saw to cut it to the length that you need. It has these connectors here. I feel like the connector kind of separated there, so I'm going to do a little working to cover that up. I've got an idea with that, and I'll show you when that time comes. But this is what these other beds look like, and I'm going to turn around and give you a look from this direction. You can see I have to finish up here, so when I get that fourth piece, I'll take it up to the garage and I'll cut off whatever is extra. So that is what it looks like, and I think that that looks so much better. And by having a rubber edging, it won't break down with the wet soil. It won't be affected by the fact that we don't have any gutters and that water pours down really heavily. And you can see here on the ground, it kind of has caused some erosion. So we are going to have to fix that. You can see the area here where the water, we've had heavy rains the last few days. So you can see where the water has come down and really beat down on the rocks there on that gravel. So I'm thinking we are going to get, when we do the garage, I'm going to have them put a gutter across this front top. And I cleaned up all of the leaves and everything over here. I'm going to have everything hauled off that's over here and clean the rest of it up so gravel can go down the side. And I'm going to put a rain barrel here so that we can catch the rain with it. So, and it'll kind of be just a little bit back so it won't be in anybody's view. So that's what I want to do to deal with this erosion issue from when we have heavy rains. But anyway, this is the circle bed. That is the edging. I'm going to go ahead and call it a day for right now. All right, guys, so I'm going to go ahead and call it a day for right now, and we'll be back out tomorrow. I'm going to finish up this edging, at least on this side. I'll give you one quick look once that's all done, and then that will be it. So, see you tomorrow.